Musalia Mudavadi there speaking to Sharon Mumanyi. Once again, that is just a sneak preview. The full-length interview will be aired right on KTN News from 10 p.m. tonight. Now, many teachers and parents of 2017 KCSE exam candidates are still very angry with the Kenya National Examinations Council and the Education Cabinet Secretary over the outcome of the exam. But Timothy Otieno went deep into the issue to trace the history of the end of secondary school examinations and now tells us that there was actually a time when getting a mean grade of A was nearly impossible, and Kenyans understood why. Now today, even when hundreds of candidates have a clean A, there is plenty of tears and acrimony. Take a look.
Proved by 1A, because last year we had 141 straight A's. This year we have 142. So we have improved by 1A.
It is a statement that would quantify the level of success for the few and seeming failure for the many, 540,428 to be specific, who would not attain the university required grade of C+ and above. And the previous year was no better. Only 141 candidates would score an A-plain grade out of the over 574,000 students who sat the paper that year.
Because
Education experts now argue that this trend is no new phenomenon in Kenya.
In the first 844 KCSE that was done in 1989, and the second in 1990, and going all that way up to around the 6th, the situation was more or less what it is right now. So I don't think that the drop in the number of A's is any indicator of a drop in quality. I would argue that the quality has always been low.
John Mugo has been a researcher in the field of education for more than a decade, and he believes Education Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i is slowly revolutionizing the manner in which exams in the country are done.
I think we have to come to that time when we must face the truth. And the truth we must face is that we were surviving in a rotten system, and this has been exposed during this Matiang'i's era. So there may be errors happening now, and it's human, but we must also appreciate the effort that has been put now by the ministry to first of all unearth these evils that were interfering with the quality of our education.
But not so many are buying into that narrative. This year, just like last year, the Kenya National Union of Teachers is demanding for a thorough audit of the KCSE results, citing malice on the ministry's part at the expense of the Kenyan child. Mugo argues that throughout the 90s, getting a mean grade of A-plain was a near impossible task. The trend began to change mid-2000s, with more students attaining the said grade. For instance, just 2 years ago, 2,636 candidates attained the grade. A year later, in 2016, that number would drop drastically to just less than 150. A drop that teachers say is not normal.
In your opinion as an education expert, would you then also advocate for the audit of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education 2017?
I think it is fair to request for a report that, for instance, says why we have that number of A's, why in some subjects we have no A's. I think that kind of discussion is healthy, and it should not be taken to demean the work of the ministry, because in this current age, everyone needs to be accountable.
The latest contention within the education sector is, however, devoid of the voice of the student who has to sit the exam. And as stakeholders continue to banter on a way forward, more than 500,000 former candidates of the 2017 KCSE exam may now have to seek alternative avenues of higher learning that does not include admission into universities.
What we would be seeing if the situation continues this way is actually a big severing of the existence of the private university, but also the public university, because our public university was dependent majorly also on what are called Module 2 or parallel students who would pay now money to sustain the university.
In the past, many would troop to highly respected polytechnics and diploma colleges. Today, most of those have been swallowed up by the big universities, have become universities themselves, or they have become constituent colleges of public universities, leaving a group in the middle with nowhere to turn. Timothy Otieno, KTN News.